People living in third world countries. What is something that is a part of your everyday life that people in first world countries would not understand/cope with? Egypt here. Crossing the street is some kind of a sick sport here. I studied abroad in Cairo, and by the third month I was playing Frogger on the Nile Corniche without thinking. If my mom saw me cross the street like that, she'd have a heart attack. When I visited Cairo, that is exactly how I was taught to cross the roads. I walk with my cell phone hidden in my pants because it's extremely common for you to get robbed. I've been through a violent robbery at a dining, and very few people I know haven't been through similar experiences. Multiple times even. I always carry two cell phones with me. One is my real cell phone. I hide it in my backpack. If I don't carry the backpack, then in one of my socks. Lol. I carry the other cell phone in my pocket. It is useless. It broke 5 years ago and has no repair. If someone tried to rob me, I would give them the fake cell phone. I learned this trick from a friend. A gang member tried to rob him. He told him to give him his cell phone. So he took out his fake cell phone and threw it as far as he could. The gang member went after the cell phone and my friend used that moment to run. The gang member realized what was happening, but it was too late. My friend managed to get to a store with security guards where they helped him and called the police. Sorry for my bad English. Your English is really good. Don't beat yourself down. 9 times out of 10 sorry for my bad English comes after something that looks way better than what you see from a ton of native speakers. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to endure the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. Sorry for my bad English. In Argentina the price of everything raises almost every day. Argentinian here. You just go to the store expecting everything to be 5-10% more than the last time you went. How do you cope with that? Is it possible to put assets into other currencies or otherwise reduce the currency volatility? How do you cope with that? You just don't buy stuff. You buy food and a few things more. For example, my family goes to the supermarket and we buy food for the whole month. It ends up being cheaper than just buying it over time. Brazilian here. What's happening in Argentina now is similar to what happened here by the 80s. We developed a culture of buying stuff for the whole month because of that period's inflation. It's a fun fact that the youngers don't know at all. I say that being 18. For what I can see, this may happen there too when this ends. I'm hoping the best for y'all. Realizing that my money, and any more I could make, is worth 5x less now. Welcome to Lebanon. Visited Lebanon once. Friendly people. Fantastic food. It's too bad that politicians screw everything up. Not just in Lebanon, but everywhere. I've been to a couple dozen countries in my life. And pretty much every time I'm like, well, the vast majority of the people I've encountered here are really decent and kind. Really sucks that the government is apparently a bunch of evil cunts. One aspect of living in a first world country is that it's normal for things to work. In third world countries, it's the opposite. Technology, roads, institutions. There is a tacit assumption that none of these things work the way they are supposed to, and that's just the way it is. When you live in the third world, your roads are full of potholes. Your lights go out every week, if not every day. Everything is on the fritz and politicians are incredibly corrupt. And yes, I know that there's corruption in Europe and the US as well. But it's not like our corruption. Example, in the summer of 2016 I took a trip to Germany and I was at the Hamburg train station, waiting for the 6:50 train to Bremen. At 6:45 the train station attendant announced that the 6:50 train was cancelled, but that there was another at 7:05 and that the train company would be happy to exchange everyone's tickets at no cost. There would be, at most, a half-hour delay. People were flipping the F out. A girl called her parents in tears. A couple threatened to sue or kill or maim the train station attendant. My German isn't great and neither is my irate German. It was like someone had declared WW3 over a half-hour train delay. In my country, on the other hand, there are no half-hour train delays because there are no trains. Shit, I wish we had trains. I had been living in Morocco and took a trip to Germany. I was waiting for the train and it was listed as arriving at like 7:23. I thought that was hilarious. The idea that it would actually arrive on time to the minute was inconceivable. I honestly didn't believe it was possible. I was so shocked that the train actually pulled in on time to the second that I took a video of the sign and then the clock and then the train pulling in. I showed it to all my friends. No one could believe it was real. When I studied abroad in Germany in college, the ICE train was late by like 5 to 10 minutes. Few were incredibly embarrassed, and they gave us all free train ride vouchers. Lol. I now live in Japan. A while back the bullet train left like 34 seconds early once, and it was a massive scandal. People were fired. Vouchers were given. The company issued a huge apology. I'm from the US. But when I was in Japan, I remember not believing the trains would come on time. It was crazy. I was padding my times to plan for trains coming early or late because buses here work that way, but they were always on time. It took a while to just accept they will be there at the posted times, except Mondays. Here in Peru, especially if you are not from the capital, to get a medical appointment you need to wait 3 months. For surgeries or actual medical treatments it can take over a year. So many people I knew got random appointments just in case something happens. You'd better suffer the hemorrhage that day or you have to pray for the eucalyptus tea to actually work. Thank goodness I was able to move to the capital some years ago. What happens to most people in medical emergencies? People injured in accidents or who had a heart attack? For those cases there is a cost, which is huge. By law, the hospital will accept the patient, but after the first aid has been given the family has to sign documents where they commit to pay the totality of the cost. This is why many people in provinces in Peru die young. Families can't afford to pay medical treatments. In Lima, the capital, is different. There are enough IQ for those cases and costs of public hospitals are lower. However, you still have to wait 2 to 3 months to get appointments. That system still works bad in any part of the country. This is why many people in provinces in Peru die young. Families can't afford to pay medical treatments. That is sad. I'm American but have worked in 70 plus countries over the last 12 years. So let's discuss Nicaragua. There are no addresses. None. Trying to get to your hotel, you'll get a description of the general location using the rising or setting sun, lake shores and other prominent landmarks which may or may not exist. Then the distance from that landmark in a unit of measurement that hasn't been used for centuries. The vera, which is about 5 feet. It's truly amazing that anyone gets anywhere in Nicaragua. I'm Nicaraguan. So, when I went to do my masters in the United States, I could not understand why the address of the house I was living was so short. I asked my roommate, hey, don't you have to put that we live across from the library and say house is white and in a corner? And she was like, how do you guys send mail? Imagine Nicaraguan Nipes being like 69 but spelled backwards and then 420 followed by Agent 007, but not the new one. The old one are pretty solid, but then that a Nipe V6. Having a rest ton of deterrence mechanisms around your house. Burglar bars on all the windows. Trellis doors on your front door, and then probably one in the bedroom hallway. Keeping your door locked. If you don't have a fence you're just asking people to break in and murder you. South Africa. Broken glass bottles set into the top of the brick/concrete fence surrounding your home. OS just like Mexico. Just like Brazil. Or every other country. Some Brazilian houses look like fortresses especially in the more middle class neighborhoods. Having to stand for hours in bread lines. Then for hours at the petrol lines, then for hours at the cooking gas lines. Then coming back home to find that they shut off the electricity because there's too much load. I feel you my fellow Sudanese. Lol. Or Egypt. Or Syrian. / we only get running water twice a week. So you have to have a tank full of water in the backyard for the rest of the week / have to ask if they have bread at the bakery / everyone has a gun. They are not legal. / metal bars on windows and doors for safety / if you get robbed, the probabilities of the thief being a cop are high / people pay criminals to find missing people underage drinking is seen as normal. I buy bottles of alcohol many times while in high school and no one cared / -9 times out of 10 you have to go to the neighboring country to buy medicine / you have to give your kids the vaccines that are required by the time they are 11 or they won't go from the 6th to the 7th grade. I don't know if they still do this though. / have to hide your phone in your pants when going out / you can only buy 120 liters of gasoline monthly in the national currency. If you want to buy more you have to pay $30+. Even tough most people in the country don't get pay in dollars. Where you from G? Venezuela. I have family in Venezuela. And they were robbed at least half a dozen times even with so many security measures. Cops are dirty as hell there, man. I had a friend who was from Venezuela. His mom was attacked on her way back from work, and it was the final straw. Moved to the US, where some of their family had already immigrated to. The constant blackouts, unsafe drinking water, and crime was enough to scare me lol. But he also talked about the beautiful beaches and all these really nice little getaways he and his family would visit. Really wish it wasn't so bad there.